Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. India Bloc today announced former Supreme Court Judge Sudarshan Reddy as the opposition's candidate for the upcoming vice presidential elections. Congress President and leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, made the announcement during a press conference. And besides being a former judge of the Supreme Court of India, Mr. Sudarshan Reddy has also been the first Lokayukta of Goa. Now, what did Mallikarjun Kharge exactly say? And I'm going to quote that all India Bloc parties have decided to have a common candidate. The decision has been taken unanimously. I'm happy that all opposition parties have agreed to one name, and it's a big achievement for democracy. This is what Mr. Kharge said. And BJP this very Sunday had picked Maharashtra governor and former party stalwart from Tamil Nadu, CP Radhakrishnan, as the NDA's candidate, apparently targeting assembly polls in the key southern state next year. But what is the strategy of India Bloc behind picking up Mr. B. Sudarshan Reddy? And is it going to make the battle tough for NDA? So we'll try and understand what's the strategy and why India Bloc chose Justice Sudarshan Reddy's name. Joining me this evening is Sharad Gupta, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much for joining. And joining us also is political editor of the Federal, Puneet Nicholas Yadav. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. Puneet has been following all the developments throughout the day. So I'll come to you, Puneet, first. What do you think is the strategy? When we were speaking on the phone, you also told me that you've been speaking to a number of alliance leaders. And what is it that you are picking up as far as the strategy behind fielding Justice Sudarshan Reddy's name is concerned?
See, Neelu, there are three things here. First, you need to be very clear that it's not as if it's a contest where, it's a very close contest where either of the candidates could win. The numbers are very clearly on the side of the government in the Electoral College. So it's not a contest where the India Bloc is hoping for a victory. So it's more about sending a message of its own and blunting the message of its opponent, So when the BJP chose CP Radhakrishnan, there were two aspects there in his candidature. One, of course, a man from Tamil Nadu, a state where the BJP has not been able to make any significant inroads in the recent years, or many, despite its many efforts. Mr. Radhakrishnan was among the handful of BJP MPs who got elected from Tamil Nadu in 1998-99, when 3, 4, or I think 5 of them got elected from Tamil Nadu. And after that, of course, the BJP has been more or less drawing a blank in the state, and its electoral footprint hasn't been able to expand there. So that was a very clear message of this outreach to Tamil Nadu ahead of next year's election in the candidature of Mr. Radhakrishnan. The other aspect of it was to kind of put the India Bloc, of which in which there are several constituents from Tamil Nadu, starting with the DMK, the Congress, the MDMK, the VCK, all these parties, which are from the India Bloc in Tamil Nadu. So, to kind of raise this, tacitly raise this bogey of Tamil pride and, put the DMK on the back foot ahead of next year's election, because naturally the message, if the DMK voted against Mr. Radhakrishnan, would be that, you're voting against a fellow Tamilian. And the DMK had made it very clear that it is not going to support Mr. Radhakrishnan's candidature because he comes from a RSS background. It's the kind of ideology that the DMK has been fighting against. So they made it an ideological battle. So then for the India Bloc, there were various considerations that came into play while selecting the candidate. And for a while, the DMK did push, as far as I understand, they did try and push Mr. Tiruchi Siva's candidature. who is also from Tamil Nadu. So, the BJP's this thing of pitting of Tamil pride gets blunted. But then, from what I'm given to understand, Mamata Banerjee from Trinamool Congress, who of late has not been very readily accepting of any suggestion that comes from any constituent of the opposition, sort of vetoed that push, by saying that she does not want anybody, any career politician, to be the candidate, and she does not also want the election to become a Tamil versus Tamil
Right.
election. It has to be an election fought on issues. So the search had to then be widened, and there were also other candidates that were discussed. I believe Mr. Bhalchand Mungekar, who's a former Rajya Sabha MP, also from the Dalit community, comes from Maharashtra, was a member of the Planning Commission. His name was also discussed. There was also some discussion, although not a very exhaustive one, on the candidature of Tushar Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's great grandson. Then some people were suggesting that a surprise, kind of dark horse could be Mailaswamy Annadurai, the ISRO scientist, the man behind the Chandrayaan and the moon missions and all of that. But then, he again comes from Tamil Nadu, in fact, from Coimbatore, which is also where Mr. Radhakrishnan comes from. So when Mamata Banerjee said it shouldn't be a Tamil versus Tamil thing, it effectively elbowed out not just Tiruchi Siva, but also Mailaswamy Annadurai. And from what I'm given to understand, the recommendation or the suggestion to have Mr. Sudarshan Reddy as the opposition's candidate came much later and possibly came directly from Rahul Gandhi, because Mr. Reddy or Justice Reddy was very closely involved with the caste census in Telangana. He was heading the expert group that the Congress government in Telangana had formed for the caste survey and the socio-economic caste survey that happened. And if you recall, Rahul has been saying that it is the Tamil Nadu model of the caste survey that should be replicated nationwide. And I'm given to understand that he was very appreciative initially, when the caste survey was submitted and all of that. He was very appreciative of the work of how Mr. Reddy had, put the entire exercise in motion, how he had got the whole caste survey thing going in Telangana. So that is the second aspect of it, of Mr. Reddy's candidature. The third is that it, in a way, now kind of puts the NDA's allies also in a bit of a spot of bother. Because if with Mr. Radhakrishnan's candidature, the BJP wanted to raise the issue of Tamil pride, now with Mr. Reddy's candidature, the Congress could also come around and the India Bloc could also come around and say that, okay, so I mean, if we are opposing Mr. Radhakrishnan on ideological grounds, how is that an attack or an affront on Tamil pride when you are not, when your allies, whether Mr. Chandrababu Naidu or Mr. Pawan Kalyan or the so-called unaligned parties, but parties which are sympathetic to the BJP whenever, these votes happen in Parliament, the BRS and YSR CP of Jagan Mohan Reddy, all four parties from the Telugu-speaking states of Andhra and Telangana. So how is it that they are not being anti-Telugu while we are being anti-Tamil in opposing Mr. Radhakrishnan? So it kind of blunts any possibility of that kind of a narrative building up during the VP polls. And it
No, but
brings the
apart from
opposition's narrative back to pitting the Constitution versus the assault on the Constitution.
right, but apart from blunting this Tamil sentiment, and that's how they've been able to address. But apart from that, what do you make of the bigger battle between Radhakrishnan now versus Justice Sudarshan Reddy in terms of merit, in terms of substance? You've already explained that the numbers are not in favor of the opposition. So what does it boil down to, the battle between the two?
No, so that's exactly what I just said, that it brings the narrative of the opposition back into play, that the constitution is under assault.
Okay.
And that is what Mr. Kharge said today while announcing Mr. Reddy's candidature, that this is an ideological battle.
Yes.
So it kind of plays into that script of the opposition, that and Mr. Reddy does have a reputation of being a constitutionalist. He's a very widely regarded jurist. He had a very unblemished record in the as an advocate in Andhra Pradesh, then as a judge of the Andhra High Court, the Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court, and then as a judge of the Supreme Court. His judgment in the Salva Judum case, which declared the Salva Judum unconstitutional, is considered to be a landmark judgment in civil rights. It then his the fact that he was chosen as the first Lokayukt, although he served very briefly, I think just for 7 or 8 months, but the first Lokayukt of Goa. So he's had a long, unblemished career as a jurist. And what is at the heart of the opposition's campaign today? It is the constitution. So you can't, separate the two in this campaign now. And on the other hand, you have, although now a governor, but a man who comes from the RSS, who's wedded into that ideology. So it pits the whole thing of assault on constitution versus the constitution as a narrative.
Right. Okay, so Sharachi, according to you, what does this big battle for the vice president election look like, according to you? And now that India Bloc has also announced their candidate, uh, and it's a consensus candidate, also announcing that Derek O'Brien had intervened and towards the end said that Aam Aadmi Party is also on the same page regarding the candidature of Sudarshan Reddy. So, what would you really say about this pick on Justice Sudarshan Reddy, sir?
Justice Sudarshan Reddy, no doubt, is a very good candidate, a political, clean candidate. But politically, I don't think that will cut too many. He'll win many brownie points for the opposition, because as we have seen number of times, the opposition candidates have been very good candidates, but uh, since they cannot win, they cannot articulate their point of view as well as a political person. Here, in this case also, CP Radhakrishnan might be a RSS person from the very beginning, but he's very mild mannered. I don't think he has made many enemies throughout his career, and he has been governor to 3 states. So Telangana, Jharkhand, and now he was governor of Maharashtra. He has before this he has been member of, rather chairman of chairperson of choir board. So I've met him a couple of times, and he seemed to be for gentleman. So he was never a rebel rouser or somebody who could really means rail the opposition. And vice president's another job is to be the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, where he has to control. There are of course crowd of MPs, especially both opposition and the treasury benches. But I don't think a person of CP Radhakrishnan's demeanor could control the Rajya Sabha as effectively as Dhankar or means somebody like Om Birla or Dhankar who have been means really tough, who have been really tough on the opposition. So CP Radhakrishnan is very mild mannered, but I would have preferred if somebody from Bihar would have been chosen. So like Puneet was saying, now there is a dilemma before Andhra and Telangana parties, Telugu speaking MPs. But similar dilemma would have been before the Bihar parties, Bihar means NDA members, member Bihar parties. so like JDU and all these parties. And since Bihar election is just around the corner, that would have been much tougher for the people like Nitish Kumar or Manji or such other NDA partners to explain why they are opposing a Bihari. So and that would have really impacted the polls. So just Reddy is a good candidate, nevertheless, but politically, I don't think that's a very sagacious decision.
Right. But you made an interesting point that had it been somebody from Bihar, then probably, the test would have got more interesting. Puneet, uh, amidst all this vote theft campaign and the issues around SIR, uh, what meaning does this VP election really have when opposition has already stepped up its ante on the vote chori? Today also there have been slogans in the parliament consistently. They've been saying vote chor, gaddi chor. These are the kind of slogans which are being used. Uh, what about the credibility of the VP elections then? Will opposition not suspect that these polls also could be rigged, though it's going to happen through an electoral college?
No, I don't think. I mean, that is the case when it comes to the VP elections, because the VP elections are completely, you can't compare them with the general election or an assembly election. Yes, the maximum that you can expect is the so-called cross voting, of members from because it's not an election where you have a whip,
Yeah.
so you can have maybe some MPs who are part of one alliance or the other, voting for the candidate of a rival alliance. That is possible. There is, of course, a possibility of both alliances reaching out to the non-aligned parties, because between the YSRCP, the BRS, and the BJD, there are about 30 odd votes there. So the opposition, which would want to narrow its lead, will also narrow the lead of the BJP candidate, would also want to reach out to these parties. The NDA, which would want to widen the lead, would also reach out to these parties. And from what I figure, Mr. Jagannath Reddy has already said that the YSRCP will back Mr. CP Radhakrishnan. The motivations for that, one needn't go into, behind that move. But that, of course, is there. But comparing it to the SIR issue or all of that is, I don't think, I mean, there's any comparison there. But it does boil down to the issues at stake. It's not a contest where there's a clash of personalities. It's a clash of narratives that that both alliances would want to make it to be. I mean, make the election out to be. So, as I said, the whole thing of constitution, law, democracy, which are all the principles that the opposition is talking about on one hand, and then you have the NDA, which would I don't know what is the message that the NDA would want to go with in the election, and they anyway have the numbers, so it's not as if they are going to have it difficult getting Mr. Radhakrishnan elected. But yes, now once the VP elections are over, then it becomes a completely different ball game on whether Mr. Radhakrishnan conducts the House in a way that is expected of the Vice President or the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha to conduct the House, or does he do a Dhankhar?
Absolutely.
So that is a different thing. But for that, of course, we have to wait for the election to get over.
Right. But what happens to Mr. Dhankhar, Sharadji? No one knows about his whereabouts. Where is he? Except for the last bit, we heard that there was a Tamil media which disclosed the news that apparently there was a meeting between Mr. Dhankhar and Mr. Modi. Now, that also is not very, very clear. But the questions around Dhankar, how prominent do they become now that the candidature of the two alliances is almost clear? Now it's like the countdown begins for the VP elections, and still Dhankar is nowhere. So shouldn't these questions also be raised in discussions like these? That where is Mr. Dhankar, and is BJP really bothered to answer that question?
See, Mr. Dhankhar stepped down on basis of his citing his bad health as a ground. And ever since he resigned, he has not been seen in public. So, and the government sources and everybody says that he is still confined to the vice presidential house. He has never stepped out ever after he resigned. So that remains as such. But the fact is that the way Mr. Satpal Malik or Mr. Dhankar have been treated. So that goes on to show that BJP does not trust many people outside the RSS umbrella. So that is why probably they chose somebody who's been a career, means who's been with BJP and he comes from RSS stable as their vice presidential candidate. So Kankar is no more relevant, I suppose, and I think he'll be forgotten sooner than he zoomed on to national political landscape. So, what do you think, Punchi?
No, but I think the best step forward for the opposition in an election being held under the current situation or scenario would be to start the campaign of Mr. Reddy by trying to visit Mr. Dhankar for his blessings. You know, at least I mean, then there is perhaps some hope of seeing Mr. Dhankar, in public. Whether the
Right, I,
government puts a stop to that, whether whether they are allowed to go and meet him, whether he comes out and meets the opposition candidate. But I think that would make for very interesting visuals.
right, but I don't think he's going to meet anybody till the elections are over, because if he had any intention of taking on the government, so he would have spilled the beans till now. He would have spoken to somebody, if not directly, then maybe through, say, sources, unnamed
Right.
sources. The stories would have come out. So far, since Mr. Dhankar's side has not been exposed to the media scrutiny, or he has not, his side has not come out, whether directly or indirectly, whether through sources or to be quoted. So that remains a mystery. So whatever we know is just gestures and conjectures. So let's hope Mr. Dhankar, since he doesn't belong to the RSS stable, and he comes from the socialist. He has those socialist party genes. So he might speak sooner than later, as we saw Mr. Malik doing that. Of course, Mr. Malik is no more with us, but let's hope Dhankar speaks out.
Yes, because I mean, it is very, very unusual for a man like Mr. Jagdeep Dhankhar to stay quiet for so long. Nobody, perhaps, no one who knows him would have expected that Mr. Dhankar would, would be silent for this long a period after what is widely seen as a unceremonious exit.
Sorry,
See,
actually there was a power cut, so that's why I got disconnected and I couldn't listen to what you guys were saying on Mr. Dhankar. But coming back to you, Sharaji, uh, so all in all, this vice presidential election, the candidature being announced on the part of the India bloc, Justice Reddy's candidature, is it only symbolic? And as Puneet rightly explained, that opposition is back with its narrative on the attack on constitution, about democracy. So obviously, opposition knows that it doesn't have numbers, so it is emphasizing too much on the messaging. And the NDA knows that it has the numbers, so it's not bothered about the messaging. And it's catering to its political convenience. Is that how you would look at it?
Yeah, of course. Means as Puneet has very rightly pointed out that basically it's about the narrative being built, national narrative, and one alliance is out to um, means what opposition is saying that the ruling combine is hating out at all constitutional bodies, including vice president's post and the election commission has been voted and all these things. And it is constitution. Basically, opposition wants to shield or protect the constitution, uphold the constitution. That is what the narrative is going to be during the vice presidential election.
All right. So, Puneet, how would you really summarize it? And then we'll end the program. The battle between the two alliances, as far as the vice presidential election is concerned, the big messaging and the big takeaway now.
Well, as I said, it's a clash of narratives with a foregone conclusion in terms of the result. So on the 9th of September, when the votes are cast, you'll see Mr. Radhakrishnan get elected. One will have to, of course, the only question in terms of the result is the margin. It's very clear that he will not win by the landslide with which Mr. Dhankhar had won. But how much of that gap is the NDA able to cover? Does it manage to get the BJD, the ISRCP, all these parties on board, or do you see the BRS and or even members from the BJD and the YSRCP vote with the opposition? So
No,
what are the leads that we'll
can
have
we
to wait and see.
Puneet, but can we expect the NDA allies like Chandrababu Naidu's party or Nitish Kumar giving some nervous moments to BJP, or do you
I
think that
don't
they'll
think
be
so.
able to manage?
I don't think so. I certainly don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Sharadji. Puneet, thank you so much for joining.